It is episode 5 of Web of McWhorter. Today's special guest is Frankie. Say hi, Frankie. Hello! She doesn't like being here at all.
Hey, look, now I'm in another location.
Okay, but in all seriousness, let's get this thing started. Today we are doing Spider-Man issue number 1 by one of my favorite comic book, not cartoon, but comic book artists, writer, well, he's not much of a writer, but he is a damn good artist. And I'm talking about, of course, Todd McFarlane, who created Venom, did a lot of work with Amazing Spider-Man. They liked him so much at Marvel that when they decided to come up with a new book, which ended up being this, Spider-Man, he wanted to have it be his own, and they're like, go for it. And they gave it to him. And so he actually wrote and drew the first issue. It's actually kind of a neat thing about this book is that the first few issues, well, I say few, but the first like dozen or so issues are actually written by various different writers. Some of them are, like, just to name a few, there's like Alan Moore, that guy that did Long Halloween, Jeff Loeb, Alan Moore, they're two great writers. There's several more, but that was the kind of neat thing about the introduction of this book, Spider-Man. And it was the first one that's just called Spider-Man. You had the Amazing Spider-Man before this. There's Peter Parker Spider-Man, I think that was after. You have the Spectacular Spider-Man. And this is the only one that's just called Spider-Man, plain and simple. And this is really awesome because, Todd McFarlane was the first artist for this book, and it's kind of hard to top him, in my opinion. The next thing that he did after this was Spawn. So it's a neat little issue. Plus, as you can see from the cover, it's all shiny and silver, and it says up here, woo, new collector's item issue. Fancy stuff. It took me a while to find that, but it's awesome, and I'm glad I found it. Now, when I say it's awesome, I mean like the cover itself and all that. The story in here, super boring. Practically nothing happens, only a couple of things. It serves as an introduction, kind of as to where Spider-Man, where Peter Parker is in this iteration of Spider-Man. And the first issue is part 1 of 5 of a story arc called Torment, which features the return of the Lizard. Not sure if he was dead or what before this, prior, but in this issue, he is dead. And he's brought back to life by a mysterious sorceress who has, abilities to do that. I kind of feel like maybe it was Calypso, but I'll have to continue reading the book to really find out. There's some of the artwork here. Standard Todd McFarlane, but it's great. It's amazing. It's good stuff. Got a shot of the Lizard down here. Super brutal. You look at this stuff and look at Spawn, and it's like, yeah, it's definitely Todd McFarlane. It starts out with Spider-Man stopping a simple robbery, and webbing up the bad guy, and then it shows the Lizard. There's like some kind of ritual going on. The Lizard rises from some it's like water somewhere. It just says somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, water starts to bubble, and then boom, he rises out. Now Spider-Man has no idea what's going on. He's just having a good old time, having a tickle fight with Mary Jane on the couch there, while the Lizard is prowling the sewers and the alleyways looking for stuff to eat because he's carnivorous. He's also not talking. So there's like a feeling that you get that this is just the Lizard. It's not like Kirk Connors. It's not Kirk Connors at all. He's wearing the purple pants and the lab coat, but this is just a beast. This is just the Lizard portion of his personality. At least that's what I gathered from reading this issue. And believe it or not, it's the first time I've read this issue. It's a collector's item, so I was very careful, and I almost didn't want to read it because I hadn't taken it out of the package, but I got a show to do! I did this for you guys. Anyways, the lizard starts moving on to bigger prey. There's like a gang fight going down in the streets of New York while Spider-Man is, while Peter Parker's at home, having tickle fights and drinking coffee with Mary Jane. The lizard is ripping apart thugs and eating them. Fucking badass. And you have Spider-Man swinging around, just monologuing about how great it is to be Spider-Man and how he loves swinging around the city, and the lizard keeps killing people. And that's all that happens. That's it. There's literally no story development in here. It just says, hey, here's Spider-Man, here's what he's doing. Hey, guess what, the lizard's back. Something's going on. He's eating people. You have to read part 2, 3, 4, and 5 to get the meat of that. It's not, in my opinion, it's not a very good introduction. So, my feelings on this book are kind of like, it's a collector's item. It's a first issue of a new book. That's the only value it has. The story's kind of crappy, just in this issue. I don't like having to read everything, and in my opinion, if you're going to have a 5-parter, you got to hook people in the first part. And that didn't hook me at all. I'm not hooked. The only thing that saves it is the artwork, to be honest. And I feel like it's probably because McFarlane did this one by himself. He's never done it before. He even says in the back, there's like this big editor's, or not editor's note, but there's a big letter or introduction or epilogue, whatever, from him that says, this is the first time I'm doing it, so please be kind. And I don't have to be kind because it's my job to do this. Yeah, I mean, the artwork's great. The inking, the script is very whatever. I mean, it seems like everybody kind of talks the same, and again, I think it's because Todd McFarlane wrote this issue too. So, I mean, maybe like a 4 out of 5, and it's only getting that 4 because it's a collector's item issue, and this is worth something. I'm not sure what, but it's worth something. They don't just put collector's item issue at the top of every issue, obviously. So, those are my thoughts on it, and unfortunately because of the lack of content, I've just been rambling here. I have nothing more to say about it, except I like the artwork. So, I'm going to take this time to talk about what I'm going to do with the rest of the show. We're doing Todd McFarlane here. Yesterday, I actually went out and bought my very first Spawn comic. Woo! And I'm probably going to review that soon. Also, I'm thinking about doing a review for New 52 Aquaman, because I've heard some very good things about that. Aquaman's kind of been a joke to me in the past, and I have a friend that has been reading the New 52 Aquaman, so I'm going to probably give that a shot and review it if I like it. Somewhere along the way there's going to be like, there's talks, there's something in the works for a Ghostbusters comic review for all of you Ghostbusters fans out there. That's pretty much it. I'm talking, I said on Facebook a while ago that I was going to do my favorite artists and writers. So Todd McFarlane not Jeff Loeb, Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee are my 2 favorite artists, period. So for Jim Lee, I'm probably thinking about doing something along the lines of Hush, because it's got everybody in it, and it would be really cool to talk about. It's one of my favorite Batman arcs, and it's super brutal. It's the introduction of a new enemy, and he's not a lame, or a new villain. He's not a lame villain either. Hush, of course. Aside from that, I am doing one other thing from Batman. My hands-down favorite little graphic novel one-off, The Killing Joke. And when I say like graphic novel one-offs, I mean like it's part of a universe that's already established, and they're really just writing this story not as a continuation or even really in continuity. It's just a one-off. It's not my hands-down favorite graphic novel, although that would probably be Watchmen. And they're both written by Alan Moore, so that brings me to say that obviously my favorite writer is Alan Moore. We'll talk more about him next time when I do Killing Joke. Spoilers. So, look for that. Killing Joke. Gonna do Killing Joke, Hush, and a Ghostbusters comic. And probably before the Ghostbusters comic, I'm gonna do the Aquaman New 52. So that's a bunch of stuff. I'm booked up. If you have any requests, too late. I told you to get them in. Fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. Keep watching the show. Please. Excelsior!